Okay, hold on. However, hold on. One moment. No, oh, not yet. Thank you. All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the regular Taos Municipal Schools Board of Education meeting. Today is Tuesday, June 18th, 2024, and the time is 6:12. With regard to the conversation about these owls picking things up, if anyone has public comment, and I think that there are some people that do, would you kindly do it up here at this lectern so that we can be sure and have you recorded? Thank you. All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Member Concha?
Here.
Member King?
Here.
Secretary Trujillo?
Here.
Vice President Spray?
Present.
President Flores?
President Flores will join us later. He's at another meeting right now. Okay, next on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Dr. Lake, what do you have?
Okay, so we are starting some new traditions as of today. One of them is to involve our student body as well as our parents. So as part of that, we have invited a student to recite the Pledge of Allegiance and the Land Acknowledgement Statement. We will be rotating campuses each regular board meeting so that we can include all our students. So let me let you know a little bit about who will be doing the pledge. Santiago de Herrera is a 16-year-old entering his junior year at Taos High School. Santiago was born and raised in Taos and has been an active participant in his school, community, and church. His parents are Ernesto and Emmy de Herrera. Santiago is the oldest of 3 boys, with Evan and Brandon as his younger brothers. Santiago is a proud member of National Honor Society, as well as a participant in the high school sophomore senate, AVID, and the travel club. Santiago enjoys riding, running, and playing video games when he has free time. In school, he enjoys learning about science, literature, and math, and medical-based classes. He loves learning about anatomy and how the body works. Santiago is taking dual credit courses at UNM and is a student intern at Holy Cross Medical Center. Santiago hopes to study medicine while attending Stanford University. However, he has dreams to be a famous writer one day. Santiago de Herrera, if you can please come up and do the Pledge of Allegiance with me.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It is respectful to recognize the unique and enduring relationship that exists between the indigenous people and their traditional territories. We acknowledge that we are on historic homeland of the Red Willow people within the original territory of Taos Pueblo. This acknowledgement will oblige as a reminder of our ongoing efforts to respectfully recognize, honor, reconcile, and partner with the Red Willow people whose land and water we benefit from in this land, in this great valley today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I look forward to hearing or reading one of your books later on in the future. Signed copy, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, the president of the board has asked me to ask for a moment of silence we've had, I think, 4 now, deaths in our community that have directly affected Taos Municipal Schools. And he asked for a moment of silence for all those families and all of us and everybody trying to work together, trying to figure it out. So at this time, I'd like to ask for that, please. Thank you. I wanted to also say that there have been a lot of conversations at Taos Municipal Schools over the last month. And just to make it, hopefully to make you guys feel better, it's being talked about pretty much every day, all the time. It's in the forefront of everybody's minds and hearts, and it's such a small community, everybody's getting touched. And so the teachers are working with it, the counselors are working with it, we're all working with it, we're doing the best that we can, and we will continue to do that. And thank you all for being here, because it's heartwarming to have everyone here. All right, the next thing on the agenda is approving the meeting agenda. Does anyone have any changes or additions, removals, anything that you want to bring up? Dr. Layton?
Recommend the approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting.
All right, does anyone have anything else to add? No? Okay, do we have a recommendation for that? I entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Please, Christina.
Member Concha,
Yes.
Member King,
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo,
Yes.
Vice President Spray.
Yes. All right, thank you. Next on this item F, presentations. We'll have a presentation of these retirees that are here tonight by Dr. Antonio Layton Jr.
As superintendent, I'd like to congratulate our retirees who were here. We had a dinner prior to this. I'd like to congratulate them because of their hard work and commitment they have given our students and our community and our schools over the years. And so without further ado, I will be calling up Vice President Spray, if you want to come up here and also. Any members also would like to join us? Small token of appreciation goes out to Mr. Andrew Leonard.
Thank you.
Next we have Marie Newbert. Up next we have Ms. Rona Ortega. You want to join you? Fellow retirees. And last but not least, right here we have Olivia Ortiz. Your numbers, if you want to come, take a big picture, Mr. Chris.
Oh, I wanted to take the one. I'll do that. I have to pick up and do that. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna send you to. Congratulate you. I'm the wrong way.
I think we got to get a little tight, guys.
Yeah, you guys gotta get a little tighter.
Uh-oh, come on.
Short people in front.
There's you right there.
Ready, guys? 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Honor their retirees, as well as to let them know they are still part of this valuable community, our schools. Each retiree is receiving a lifetime pass to any home game they wish for the duration of their retirement. So congratulations, guys.
Very nice, you guys. Thank you again, all of you, for working for the schools. Obviously couldn't do it without you. All right, and we wish you happy retirement. But as I said to you, come back and sub anytime you want to come back and sub. I'm waiting for you. All right, next we'll have a presentation on community schools by Victoria Santesteban.
is a tough act to follow. And congratulations on retirement. So Vice President, members of the board, Superintendent Layton, Ms. Montes, Mr. Head, and all of you. Thank you for allowing us to come and do a very short presentation on community schools at Western School District. So 23-24 saw the launch of a district-wide community school initiative. So thank you all for your support of this, because this is really very amazing. So we have 6 key pillars of community schools that we need to be following, and that is powerful student and family engagement, collaborative leadership, shared power and voice, expanded enriched learning opportunities, rigorous community connected classroom instruction, a culture of safety, belonging, and care, and integrated systems of support. So integrated systems of support, a great example, we have Naomi Martinez Standard, who is our community schools coordinator at Taos High School, and she'll have an opportunity to speak a little bit about the amazing work that he does at Taos High. So with any new program, there of course are challenges. And so some of the challenges that we experienced this past year, difficulty in filling positions, unfortunately, learning our new job duties. This is a very different model that we will be following. And so we're all learning how to work with the district on this. And we're very grateful to all the departments who are here tonight for their patience. Finance Director Maestas, thank you for being so patient with us. You're welcome. And House Bill 128 was a definite challenge for the district. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. But enough with challenges, let's talk about the successes that we had this year as well. So we'll be starting the new academic year fully staffed. So all of our schools will have a community school coordinator. So we created a team of cross-functional departments across the district. So social emotional learning, family engagement, the homeless student liaison, the attendance coaches. So this is a very heavy lift, and we need to be working together to leverage our resources. Each school has a community schools room where students can find supplies, clothing, snacks, food. And I'd like Naomi to take a brief moment to discuss. She's had over 2,000 engagements with students and staff in her community schools room. So we only have 5 minutes, so you just go ahead.
Okay. So I just want to thank everybody for the opportunity to allow us to be here and explain a little bit more what we're focusing on. At the Taos High School, I am able to provide clothing, personal hygiene items, snacks, food bags for students, as well as school supplies. I am there for a listening ear if students need it. Like Ms. Santisteban said, I did have over 2,000. It was just around 2,500 interactions with students. That's not my multiple, hey miss, can I get coffee? I'll come wash your coffee pot after, you know, I only counted them once, you know, so those were not my frequent flyers, but I really had those conversations that I could say that we gave out, you know, so much food or so much personal hygiene items to these students, and they have a place. When we went on our national conference, when I came back in my clothing bag, these students had taken between about 60 pieces of clothing from the clothing bag in the week that we were out for Memorial during that time frame. So these students are using it. They know that they can come and get it. And it's made a mass improvement in our student attendance as well, because we've had students with ripped jeans there. I need to call home so I can get changed. No, you can get a pair of pants and go back to class. So I've seen a lot of that improvement as well. And then I see these kids in public and they know who I am. They know the difference that our program is making. So it's had a very positive impact at the high school. So thank you everybody for supporting what we're doing. Thank you. Thank you.
Confident in what they're wearing, if they have a good pair of shoes, they will perform better in class. And then again, very quickly, so we collaborated with several community partners and volunteers, including a Learn to Ski initiative with the town of Taos, the War Foundation, Rocky Mountain Youth Corps, and Taos Ski Valley. All of our elementary schools have a very successful after-school program. So very needed for our working families. We were involved in the very innovative summer community camp that we are now running at Enos Garcia. We're super proud of that. All of our community schools coordinators will be working a little bit off contract this summer to ensure that we have programming ready for the new academic year, as well as starting to do the House Bill 128 processes for the volunteers who would like to come in, and we will get that done immediately. As Ms. Martinez Standard mentioned, we're very well represented at the National Community Schools Conference in Atlanta, Georgia. And so thank you to all the people who attended there. And we'd like to invite the whole board and Dr. Layton, of course, to the statewide community schools conference is September 17th and 18th in Albuquerque at Sandia Resort. So that's actually a super cool place to go. And we just want to thank everyone who's helped us in this initiative. So we've had several volunteers, we have several people who have donated wonderful items to our community schools room, and we're just looking forward to starting the new academic year very successful. So if we have any questions, we'd love to answer.
Any questions, any comments?
No, I just want to say that Vice President Frey and I have been really keeping up with the community schools, and we met with a few different components of that, which is, you know, on the funding side and the direct service, the interactions, just really keeping apprised of what's going on and heard great things in the community. It's a much needed resource, and from what I take from the conference is that we have the foundation and we just need to add a little bit more to it, and we're on the right track. So I want to thank all of our educators and everyone involved. Yeah, it's got together to make community schools happen, not just in one school, but in multiple schools. So I think we're looking in the right direction. Our meetings have been progressive, so thank you.
So thank you, Member Concha. Just very quickly, Taos County has created a community schools commitment. And so this is really showing the commitment countywide that we have. And also, Taos Peninsula Schools is one of 3 schools in the state that has the federal grant program. So it's Taos, Albuquerque, and Las Cruces. So, yeah. Good job. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, Alipio, where are you? Yeah, there he comes. Alipio Mondragon is going to take us through a review of the Taos Municipal Schools land inventory. Which doesn't sound that interesting, but it actually is. Thank you, Alipio.
Vice President Spray, members of the board, Dr. Layton. Tonight, I'm going to very quickly just go through a PowerPoint presentation that introduces you guys to the properties that are titled the Taos Municipal School District of the County Assessor's Office. We currently have 29 titled properties, but as you'll see in the presentation, many of these are adjoining properties that make up a campus, and they range in size from 400 square feet to 40 acres. So there's quite an assortment of properties. So the first page there is the listing of the properties, and we'll just go real quickly through the presentation. I don't want to take too much time on this. Go ahead and just start.
Sorry, I'm having second. So there we go. All right.
So first on our list is Arroyos del Norte Elementary. This is one of the properties we have out there. This is close to 10 acres. You can see these appraised values that we have on here are what they currently have. on file with the assessor's office. Okay, so some of them are getting reappraised, you know, we'll get updated as we get we'll update this as we get those values. This is the main campus of Arroyo's North Elementary School. Okay, go ahead, Maria. The second piece, now if you look there, this is a little triangle that's a driveway out of Arroyo's Elementary. This is our 400 square foot piece of property there. This is probably something we need to work with the assessor's office to get incorporated and just bring it into our property, and so we don't have two separate properties with that. Go ahead, Lenny. This is our Cañon campus. This was the old Chrysalis campus in Cañon. This is 52 Evergreen Lane. This is an abandoned building right now. It's on a little over 1 acre. The building itself, and go ahead, Maria. This is the building right here. This is it's an eight classroom structure with adobe structure with a kitchen, restrooms, and a day room in it. It's been abandoned for about 10 years now. We have done some roof work on it to stop the water from going into the building and causing it more damage. But as you can see by the pictures, we do need to clean up the campus, do some weed control, and we're going to work with our landscapers to see if we can get them to help us with that as well when they come in. Okay, so next we have Eco Park. This is located on Salazar Road. It's currently leased to the town of Taos. They have the soccer field on it. This is 28 acres. You know, it's a nice property, and they've done a lot of great things with that. Next, Maria. Go ahead. This is our El Prado property. This is a little triangle of land we have in El Prado. Just for reference, the little red building you see up on top is the El Prado liquor store. Okay, this little triangle of land, which is a quarter of an acre, currently has easement for 2 driveways, and it's the main easement for Cardenas Lane in El Prado. So really, you know, but it is our property. It's something that, and if you go to the next slide, this is a picture of the property. It's got 2 driveways going through it. Long easements. So go ahead. This is Dinos Garcia Elementary School. This is one of the properties. This is almost 3 acres. The main building at Dinos. Go ahead. This is the second part of Dinos. This is the early childhood. This is the rest of the campus. It's a little over 5 acres. And like I said, the property values are probably incorrect because there's been a lot of improvements to the buildings and the land since some of these appraisals were done. Next, we have our food warehouse, which sits on State Road 68 south of town. This first section, this little triangular section, is 3/4 of an acre. This is where the main warehouse sits, along with some storage containers. This is accessed off of State Road 68. And next to it, we have another piece of land that it's almost an acre. It's vacant right now. We haven't done anything with it, so it's waiting for some kind of development. This next one are the Los Cordobas tennis courts. We own an acre out in Los Cordobas with, as you can see from the picture, it's a tennis court that hasn't been used in quite some time. It's overgrown with shrubs, and the asphalt line is cracked and deteriorated. It's got some fencing on it, but the fencing is all it's not working anymore. Next, we have the Llano Quemado YDI site. This is located on State Highway 382 up in Llano Quemado. This property is the old Head Start, the old Llano Quemado Head Start. YDI currently is using that facility for their Head Start, and they're maintaining the building, and they're actually doing a really good job of taking care of the property. So, okay, next we have the Ranchos Elementary School, the main campus. And I know these pictures are a little small and hard to see, but we've got 13 acres out there. This area constitutes the two areas of Ranchos, including the big soccer field behind the school. Okay. And then if you go to the next one, this is the other section of Ranchos Elementary. This is our, I call it Ranchos School 3. This is the piece of the parcel that's in front of the property. Okay, in front of the school, which includes some of the parking area. Okay, and go ahead, Lydia. This, we have the same situation here that we do at Arroyos del Norte. We have a small triangle of land here that's out by itself as you enter the school. But that is a separate deed that the schools has on file. So that would be another one that would be worth getting surveyed and placed back with another piece of land. Go ahead. This is our San Cristobal property. This is, it used to be the old San Cristobal School. It was deeded over to the San Cristobal Water Association for them to use it as a community center. Go ahead, Nadia. It is their post office. So they've been using it as a post office for about 10 years now. It's they've made a lot of improvements to the building as well. Go ahead. Yeah. This is the back side of the building. It's in really good shape. It's an old adobe structure as well. It's and last, this is the tennis court, basketball court, which they have also maintained and kept up. The kids, the community kids use that, and they do utilize that. Go ahead. This is the Taos High School main campus here. And Taos High School has several parcels that are separate, and we'll just go through those real quick. This one incorporates the building, the football field, and part of the baseball field. This is another lot. This is this, which incorporates the back half of the baseball field, a couple of acres there. And then to the left of that, we have 3.5 acres, which is the girls' softball field and that storage lot next to it. This is the Taos High facility. This is let me see where we at. This lot is actually where we're going to be building our new wrestling facility. So this is an acre next to the greenhouse by the old daycare. So that lot is getting is going to get utilized. Do I have to tell you? This is the lot next to that, which is the old daycare and the garden area. So it's an acre, about an acre there as well. Go ahead. Are you on site? Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is the lot behind the high school where the gates are. This is all vacant property right now. They've got an access road that they use for the bus gate. So not much utilization there. Go ahead. Now we're at Taos Middle School. So this is 30 acres. This is the entire campus of Taos Middle School. This also includes Vista Grande High School. Okay. This is one of our bigger campuses, and we have a lot of area behind it. So There again, the appraised value is probably not correct on that. Okay. Here we have, go ahead, another little triangle of land just sitting out there by itself. A little over a quarter of an acre that it's, then you could probably get put into the main property. Okay. This is our SPF States property. If you look at the little blue dot in the big square, that's our property. It's a quarter of an acre. Face value at this time was $640. We're, I don't know the history of this, but think that this was donated to the schools by somebody. And I've not been out there, that as far as I know, it's just all sagebrush out there, so we wouldn't even know how to even start looking for that. Okay. Here are two of our bigger properties that the schools own. This is the UNM Cloud campus. This first one is the main campus. It's 40 acres off of old State Road 570. This is where they've been building, and they're developing that with all their that's their main campus. The next slide is another 40 acres of the school zones behind that's adjacent to State Road 68. So this lot is it extends all the way back to Highway 68, and it's another 40 acres. Currently, there's a water tank and a solar array on that property, so it is being used. Okay, so this is our Valle Escondido property. This was the old schoolhouse in Valle Escondido. It's up on New Mexico 60 ferries, just before the turnoff to Valle Escondido. And if you look at it, this property is, there's a bunch of old dilapidated structures. It's not been used, and I couldn't tell you how long, but go ahead. Yeah, just go through those pictures. There's this is what we have up there. Nobody's out there. It's not fenced. It's not really fenced. It's adjacent to a house that just got built up there, and I do believe that their driveway is running through the. They did build it across the school's property, so, but I don't know how long that's been there, so that might be an easement at this point as well. But that's it. Those are, just wanted to give you guys a quick review of that. Doesn't want to take too much time. Are there any questions coming with it?
I have one.
Yes.
Just a point of clarification. Did I hear you say that the old San Cristobal schoolhouse has been deeded to the Water Association? Deeded, meaning it was?
We do have a deed that they provided that it is, however, in the books, it's still.
Well, it's still in the books, ours, but it may not be ours.
It may not be ours.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Just curious about that. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. Does anyone have any comments, questions?
Olympia, I appreciate your presentations. So some of these sites, it seems like like in El Prado, is that, there's a water community there. So is that possible for workforce housing?
Because of the driveways and the easements that are on there, there's not much development that could ever happen on that property. It's right next to their community center. The only thing you could ever do there would probably be like parking if there's an event there. But as far as building, there's not enough to build on. Already got those driveways going through there and been established. So that would probably be just for the guys and the lawyers.
Look at. But this other site in regards to Valle Escondido, is that flat?
No, it's actually built on a hillside. So
is it the one that you drive and you see that on the side of the road?
It is,
Mhm.
right off the side of the road. It was an interesting property. You know, I didn't dare go in the house because I was afraid that, you know, afraid of what's in there, yeah.
But his concern is the driveway right through the property.
Yes, and it's probably something probably should look into, if you look at it on Google Earth or if you look at it on some of our other aerials, you don't see that. You don't see it on aerial imagery yet. But it is gated and the gates are locked, so, yeah.
Anyone else? Oh, there you go.
The Chrysalis campus,
It's,
has any research been done on the roof?
we haven't, the most we've done is just, like I said, we did visit the campus, we found that this was during the winter. And there was water pouring in several places and we went and we addressed those things to minimize the damage inside. But there is some water damage inside already, but for the most part, that building is not in bad shape. It's still very, you know, wouldn't take a whole lot to get it back up and running. There's electrical out there, there's water, you know, everything's still connected.
Regarding asbestos, that's what I was thinking.
I don't think there's asbestos, it's all adobe, it's inside, and
So there's not,
it's old school, yeah.
Okay.
It's very old school, we have vigas and wood planks on the roof.
and you feel it's in good shape.
It would take work, but I mean, if we don't let it go, you know, for too much longer, we could still salvage that. So, yeah.
Thank you, Olivia. It seems kind of, okay, go ahead, Secretary's review.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
Usually when you're paying out for insurance, usually we assess all these properties and all these buildings. Some of these are just not habitable. And we just need to make sure that they're not being listed in our insurance listing, because normally that's what usually happens.
Yeah.
So it would be worth looking into that inventory, that the insurance, that our property insurance.
Yeah, that's a good point. You can definitely look into that.
Olivia, my concern is that there's some safety issues that are glaring, but I don't know if we should also look at to tighten them up so that someone doesn't get hurt on these properties that we own. I thank you for bringing it to our attention so that we can all talk about it.
Can I have a little more comment?
Yes, definitely.
It's like that one that you said, that you even hesitated, Chuck, you just couldn't go in because if somebody did get hurt, they decide to just walk through and it topples some, you know, and maybe there should be some demolition. Look, I mean, done on those properties, just again, just let's kind of clean up the.
Dr. Label, we have a committee that's working on this. Could we call a meeting for every committee, which includes Olivia soon, so that we can move forward on it? Because some of that doesn't look too safe. Thank you so much, Mr. Monaco. Right now, my favorite part of any agenda, I'm so pleased to be the one to introduce public comment tonight because I love public comment. Board member Concha, would you please read the public comment statement that we have to read every time?
Good evening again, everyone. Any interested person may submit data, views, or arguments deriving to the board on any school-related topic. An individual or representative wishing to give public comment shall register prior to participating in public comment. Additionally, when registering for public comment, the speaker shall be required to identify the subject matter of their proposed comment when they register. Speakers are allotted 3 minutes or an amount otherwise designated by the board president at the beginning of the meeting. The board president, in his or her role, sole discretion, may shorten or lengthen the comment period of time to ensure that the meeting is efficiently and properly conducted. All speakers are strongly encouraged to abide by all time limitations to avoid personal attacks, to utilize all administrative avenues for complaint resolution before bringing issues to the board, and to avoid identifying students or staff in comments, and to present all comments professionally and respectfully. Persons requiring special assistance or services such as a sign language interpreter should call 575-758-5202 at least 3 days before this meeting.
Thank you. I'm not gonna chat. All right, the procedure now is anyone who wishes to address this room, if you have a comment, please come up in whatever order that you want to and speak for the lectern there. You're welcome to line up, or you can stay lined up where you are, however you want to make it work.
Should have shown that nice.
They have. Yes. Yes.
If you could state your name.
Yes, I'm Lucas Schreiber. Dr. Layton, members of the board, thanks for giving us the opportunity to share some of our thoughts. I'm here with a number of parents in the back as representatives of a bigger and growing group of community members and parents who are concerned about the quality of education, particularly at Taos High School. I've written a letter to the board members that I'll provide you each a copy with when I'm done, and with permission, I'd like to read it publicly.
Absolutely.
Just as long as I'm just remembering about the names.
Yes, thank you. I do mention your name. Is that acceptable? So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Lucas Schreiber. I was born outside of Albuquerque when my father, Larry Schreiber, was a medical resident at the University of New Mexico School of Medicine. He and my mother, Carol Wells, moved to the Taos area in 1976 when I was 2 years old. My parents served this community for over 40 years, my mother as a mental health counselor and my father as a physician. He delivered thousands of babies. He took care of some of you and surely many of your relatives. I've followed in his footsteps, and I've been a family doctor in this community for over 21 years now. I was able to do this not despite my education in Taos, but on account of my education in Taos. I attended what was then Enos Garcia Middle School, Taos Junior High, and Taos High School, as did most of my siblings. My older brother, Jordan, my younger sister, Gabrielle, and I all graduated at the top of our respective classes at Taos High School. Each of us gave commencement addresses to our classmates in our community on graduation day on the Taos High School football field. We all went on to attend competitive colleges and graduate schools. Thus, I've always been a fan of public school education and a strong supporter of the Taos municipal school system. It has been disheartening to hear tales over the last couple of decades about the decline in the quality of education here. Until recently, I brushed off the rumors and rebuffed my peers' concerns about sending their children to public schools in Taos by reminding them that I'm a product of this system. I would tell them that my brother Jordan was a Rhodes Scholar, and that his Taos High School class of 1991 classmate, Horacio Trujillo, was also a Rhodes Scholar. I do not think there's a comparable high school in the country that then boasts of producing 2 Rhodes Scholars from the same class, if at all. So I encouraged my daughters, Lucy and Annalie, to go to Taos High. My girls are highly motivated, intelligent, and enthusiastic learners. Until they entered Taos High, they were always totally appreciated by their teachers for their ability to stimulate thoughtful discussions and to challenge their peers and their teachers alike. Sadly, the experience they've had at Taos High has been woefully disappointing so far. Much of the community is aware of reports of illicit drug use on the school grounds, allegations of teachers having inappropriate relationships with students, and of the alleged rapes that occurred on campus. But many community members are not aware of a less salacious and more insidious problem, the crumbling of academic rigor. Lucy just completed her sophomore year, and Annalie her freshman year. They spent the entire last academic year with no math teacher. They were enrolled in honors math, and due to unclear circumstances, their instructor did not attend a single day of the year. Annalie also suffered through most of her second semester with no honors English teacher. While we understand that extenuating circumstances may have been at play, and while we accept that the school district is unable to share details of personnel issues, we've been frustrated by the very limited communication to students and parents about the predicament and the proposed solutions to the staffing problems.
Though I totally understand that many teachers feel overworked, underpaid, and burnt out professionally, I fear that the students who are already being deprived of quality, consistent instruction are now being punished further by teachers who feel burdened by the added duty of looking out for and assessing the performance of the students in these extra classes. I certainly empathize with the teachers who are being asked to do more work, presumably for no additional pay. But the students who lost the instructors are the real victims and should not be treated as though they are the perpetrators. The current level of dysfunction in our school system is exacerbating another huge problem facing our youth. The American Academy of Pediatrics, along with several other professional organizations, recently declared a national state of emergency for child and adolescent mental health. This crisis has been tied to academic stress accelerated by the COVID pandemic, racial injustices, social media pressures, international unrest, etc. These children are in need of compassionate and supportive role models at school. Yet, even in the classes that are adequately staffed, teachers often seem irritated by students' questions and unwilling to engage them in conversation when students find evidence to support answers for which they were not given credit, for example. Furthermore, there is a rampant culture of cheating that seems to be condoned by many of the educators. Some students enter their math questions in apps on their phones to generate the answers. Additionally, it's not uncommon for students to photograph questions during a test and then go to the bathroom to look up answers in the middle of class. For students who strive to be at the top of their class, this permissive rule breaking creates an unfair playing field. I'm certain that the presence of smartphones in the classroom is a ubiquitous problem, but one that would be relatively easily solved with some basic classroom policies banning phone use and possession during class time, particularly during testing. I fear that the deterioration of the Taos public school system will be self-perpetuating. Besides the abysmal attrition rate that we observe at Taos High, it's increasingly common to see academically inclined students choosing to transfer to other schools in and out of the state. There will be obvious detrimental effects on the community at large in the long run if our schools continue to decline. But our faltering school system is having a more immediate and palpable effect as well. This community is currently also facing a major physician shortage crisis. And as a doctor and a primary care clinic owner, I have struggled to recruit new clinicians over the years. One of the major deterrents cited by applicants to my practice is the poor quality of education here in Taos. My wife and I have considered moving part of the family to Albuquerque, Santa Fe, or Los Alamos, so our daughters could access superior schools. We reluctantly agreed to give Taos High one more year after learning that the board was poised to tackle this major problem and had chosen to attempt to rectify it. The status quo is not working for students, it's not working for teachers, and it's not working for the Taos community. With this in mind, I enthusiastically welcome our new superintendent, Dr. Antonio Layton. I think the problems are deeply entrenched and will be most effectively managed by an outsider with a fresh perspective. Thus, I congratulate the board for recognizing this critical need and responding with a change. We are entrusting you with our most valuable asset, our children. So please respond accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Schroeder. Thank you. Thank you. Before you start, and for anyone else who wants, thank you. For anyone else who wants to speak, Dr. Schreiber, I was happy to provide him time to finish, but if you all could limit it to 3 minutes, that would be much appreciated.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
I don't have a copy. I can make a copy, but I have a written copy, so I can make copies and give them to you later. That's okay. Okay.
Christina, if you can turn that toward me so I can see the hot shot. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So I'm also going to read a letter. And I'll just jump right in.
What is your name?
My name is Angela Torres.
And welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
So you're a parent?
I am also a parent. Yes. Okay, dear members of the board and Dr. Layton, my name is Angela Torres. My family has lived in this area for over 300 years. I'm a parent of a rising ninth grader, and I'm here to represent 30 other parents of students who attend or will be attending Taos High School. First of all, I want to thank the teachers, administrators, and the board for your unwavering commitment to educating our children.
Our mission as a group who is forming now is to enhance the well-being, the academic experience, and serve as a support to a positive learning environment for every student. The high school offers many positive experiences, but we are aware of issues with staffing, outdoor access during the school day, other issues that Dr. Schreiber mentioned about cell phones and cheating, and just the overall concerns about the academic decline at Taos High. So as a result of these issues, we have come together in support of Taos High School students, the staff, the administrators, by forming a parent-teacher-student organization, emphasis on student. And we would like to meet with Dr. Layton in the coming weeks to constructively discuss the obstacles Taos High School faces and to learn about the administration's priorities and how we can support them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Anyone else? Hey. Thank you all for being here. I assume that you all have are like-minded and appreciate it very much, your help in making this a better school district. Thank you. All right, here we go. I gotta go find myself back around the place.
Vice President Gray, would it be inappropriate for us to depart at this point?
Depart? I'd rather you stay in case someone has a heart attack, but.
So having said that, it is not inappropriate, but I will be introducing the new high school principal for anybody who would still like to stay.
How soon does that happen? That happens soon, doesn't it?
Next.
It's next. It's next if you'd like to stay for that. Okay, great. All right, so thank you again, all of you. I appreciate it. I love public comment. So item H is district update from Superintendent Dr. Antonio Layton Jr. Take it away.
All right, well, so part of my entry into Taos Municipal Schools as the new superintendent was a 90-day entry plan, and I don't mean to have you all stay for that, but I do want to do, I do have to do a quick update to our board of how that's going, and that'll lead into the introduction of our new high school principal. So, Maria, if you can go to the next slide. So part of my 90-day entry plan included 3 phases. Don't you just love technology? Actually, I do, so. All right, next slide, please. So part of my 90-day entry plan includes 3 phases. First one was relationship building. Next is leading and analyzing and learning visits. And so part of that is, of course, I am 5 weeks old into the district. And so I began the relationship building across the district. Next slide, please. And in doing so, I've already been able to be at each of the campuses to speak with our students, our staff, and our principals, as well as community members in our district, including the mayor. A little bit before, please. There we go. Including the mayor, community schools, different organizations, our tribal leaders. In fact, I just had a meeting earlier this afternoon with our community schools. So that has been part of it. And part of that relationship building is to gather a lot of the information, and especially with the concerns that have brought today into today's public comment. Next phase, please. So part of that is also to individually meet with our school board so that we can create and format a teamwork approach, a collaborative approach to address a lot of these concerns, but also to build on the successes that we do have in our district. I was very pleased to be part of graduation on the first week I was here. I will say it was a beautiful graduation ceremony, and I look forward to many graduations to come. So the next phase is going to be leading and analyzing. I have already met with board, just to let you know, I've met with our campus and district leadership team because we are discussing our district goals that we are going to focus on so that we can move our district forward in the areas of academics, attendance, our financial, and operations. So having said that, we will be looking at capacity gaps. I think that was one that was alluded to earlier today. We will be talking about our resource gaps, and part of that is with some of our new hires that will be coming up this year. And we will be also looking at our curriculum and instruction gaps to make sure, I think to one of our public comments, to let's decrease those gaps so that we can have our students graduate from here with more opportunities than they already have. After that, the following phase will be learning visits, which I've kind of already started doing just to get a good overview of what we are doing at our campuses. So I've had a good chance to meet with all our principals. I've had a chance to meet with our students and some of our parents to begin learning what is it that they want in our district? What is it that we can provide our students? And so once those learning visits will continue once we do start the school year. And then of course, providing that clear, concise communication to all our community, our board, and our district so that we can clearly communicate our goals as a district so you as a community can see where we're headed. And of course, we're talking about public relations, digital media, district branding, all a part of our entry plan as for the transparency of what are the new things that are going on. So board, just to let you know, we are going to be changing up a little bit of our communications in that we're increasing our 80-20, what I like to call 80-20. A lot of our communication will be student-based outcomes. So whatever we're producing out there, 80% should be about student outcomes. The other 20% should be from our day-to-day operations. And then lastly, bring that as part of our strategic plan. We're going to incorporate what we have done already with a lot of the feedback that we are receiving from our community, our students, and our staff, so we can incorporate a solid and robust strategic plan. All right, without further ado, on having said that. So I think at this time, just to mention that President Flores is here.
Yes, I will. Everyone, President Flores is here, but he told me to continue until further notice. So I'm going to continue. Go ahead, Dr. Lady.
So having said that, part of my new task was to select a high school principal. And after a very robust search, I am proud to announce that our new high school principal for the upcoming year was Ms. Emmy Jesus Herrera. I'll read a quick bio. As a new principal, Ms. Emmy brings a wealth of education experience and leadership to our school. Being a native of Taos, she graduated from Taos High School, attended NMSU and NMHU, and has worked her entire career for Taos Municipal Schools. Most recently, as the Dean of Instruction at Taos High School. Her career background includes secondary and post-secondary instruction, educational leadership, college and career counseling, coaching, and professional development around holistic practices. Ms. Emmy, will you please rise? Thank you. Thank you so much, and we welcome you, Ms. Emmy, to our community as now a new high school principal. Is there anything that you would like to? Oh, she came prepared. That's an entrance right there.
I just wanted to say that I'm excited and blessed for this opportunity to work in a new capacity with our high school. I look forward to working with our school board, our community, our families, and most importantly, our students to address everything that we have as far as our 90-day plans are concerned and our goals and concerns from parents as well. I heard what was said earlier, and I appreciate the opportunity to take what our school has to offer and to make positive change and impact for our community because our students matter. I have 3 sons right there that we want to provide the best opportunities for them. So I thank you. I really want to work with all of our stakeholders in making Taos High School the best high school that we have in Northern New Mexico. So thank you all, and again, congratulations to our retirees, and I look forward to our future work ahead. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Anyone have any comments you'd like to make? No.
Vice Chair, if I may.
Yes,
Just want to congratulate our new high school principal. I think it's very well deserved. The community is very happy to hear that you'll be serving in that capacity, and I believe the board is very happy for you, and we look forward to working with you and Dr. Lane and all the improvements that are to come.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, and having said that, the feedback from the community and the feedback from our students and our staff, there are some new positions that we will be incorporating this coming year. One of the feedback that we received in our scores show is that we have a need in math. And so we are going to be incorporating a math interventionist at the elementary and a math interventionist at the high school. So we will be providing that support. Along that, we are also talking about resources. We will be opening up a grant coordinator, what we'd like to call the doer, because we need to incorporate a lot of our resources from the state. So we're going to be looking and making sure that our schools are well resourced when it comes to our grants. So having said that, part of the other report is district goal setting. We did meet with campus and district leadership. We are going to be providing 2 main goals that are going to have the biggest impact on our district that will then trickle through the schools so that we can achieve those higher achievement scores in academics, pick up those attendance, and as well as work on our financial aspects of it. And then just a quick update on the summer community lunch distribution. We did provide, of course, our lunches to our students who are attending the summer program, but we will be also continuing our program to help our community students that we don't want them to go without a meal. So we're going to be providing those lunches for distribution at our campuses at the high school and at Enos. So just a little bit of the updates from the superintendent.
Thank you, Dr.
Okay, if there's nothing else.
I just want to say thank you. Yes, would you please continue? Thank you.
Thank you, board, for all that you do, and Dr. Leon, thank you. I had a meeting with the town, so I was running late, but I'm happy to be here. So we'll go ahead and continue on. It seems as though we're leaving off on district update, if I had it clear.
We did that work.
Yeah. At this time, everyone is welcome to stay and be present for the rest of the meeting, but if you need to leave and have other business, we won't be offended if you need to take off and go feed yourself or take care of your kids. Thank you for joining us at tonight's meeting. Look forward to seeing some of you guys back.
Yep, thanks for coming.
Thanks, yes.
So item on my finance office, I-1 review and possible approval of the fiscal year 24-25 Taos Municipal Schools budget in the amount of $29,019,827. We have presenting our finance director, Mrs. Tanya Maestra.
Good evening, Vice President. Earlier you weren't here. President Claudia, Vice President Gray, members of the board, Superintendent Layton, community members, with your request, the approval of the fiscal year 24-25 Taos Municipal Schools budget in the amount of $29,019,827. Do we have your approval?
Does the board have any questions for Ms. Maestra regarding this year's budget?
I just had a comment.
Secretary Trujillo.
Again, thank you for the hard work in putting this budget together. It was incredible and very well thought out. And I believe that it covers every standard that is set for the Taos Municipal Schools as required by PD. And again, that's a challenge in itself. Now it's time to work through it for the coming year and just remain watchful, because they are projections, and they do materialize when the cash is available. So again, thank you for your hard work and your staff. And Ms. Fidalgo. There you are. Thank you so much for all your help. We just greatly appreciate your work at Taos Municipal Schools.
Just one question. Thank you, President Flores. Thank you, Tanya. Fund 31,400 special capital outlay. Could you just let me know what that involves or includes, please? It's on the last page. I'm wondering, was that the auxiliary gym?
This has, yes, Vice President Spray, it has the appropriation for the gym, and then we had a little bit of money left over the prior year. What was that for, Maria?
It's there, other small associations that were.
Yeah, I want to say it's for the, like a small piece of HVAC system that was supposed to happen at the Royals, so we're still trying to finish spending that down. And so it's a combination of the both. And then the point.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that I was understanding that correctly. Thank you, and thank you, Maria.
Yes.
Thank you both for all that you do in this area.
I have just a quick question, Ms. Maestas, if you can share with the board, without going too in depth, if there's been any significant changes to this year's budget versus last year's budget?
President Flores, there hasn't been very much, you know, we did get pretty much the same amount of money from the SEGs. We did get a little bit of an extra $357,000. Where Dr. Layton was able to implement those three new positions for the grant coordinator, and which I believe was a request of the board. And then also the math intervention assistant principal at Ranchos, which is needed. So we were able to get a little bit of money extra, and Dr. Layton spent it all.
Provide that much needed support,
Yes, we needed it.
Thank you for your response. And then just in hearing the word capital outlay, the district goes out annually to our legislature for capital outlay funding. And it needs to be spent so that we can go out and request more funding. So I would just like to make a note that we're looking at that capital outlay funding. I know our lobbyist has approached me on various occasions and asking of years past why we haven't spent such funding and how it can be difficult to go to our senator or representative and request additional funding when we have not expended prior year's funding. So if we could just kind of highlight any capital outlay that we have in the queue and just make sure that we get it spent on what it's out and allocated for.
Definitely we will look into that to see where we can exhaust the money.
Any further questions for the board?
To follow up on that, give us a report on exactly what was done with the monies and what the appropriation was, and how it was expended, and that those grants are closed.
Just to echo that, yeah, it's very important for our senator and representative to actually see, you know, how we're spending the money that is given to us as we go out and request additional funds. So hearing no further questions or comments from the board, Superintendent Layton, do you have a recommendation in the review and possible approval of the fiscal year 24-25 Taos Municipal Schools budget in the amount of $29,019,827?
Yes, sir. Board President, I do recommend that for approval for the fiscal year 24-25, the Taos Municipal Schools budget for that amount of $29,019,827.
We have a recommendation for approval from Superintendent Dr. Layton. May I entertain a motion for approval from the board?
I make a motion to approve the budget that's been presented for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you, Board Member King. We do have a motion. Is there?
Second it.
We have a second from Vice President Sprague. Madam Clerk, can you please call for the roll?
Member Concha?
Yes.
Member King?
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo?
Yes.
Vice President Sprague?
Yes.
President Flores?
Yes.
Thank you.
Item I2 from our finance office is resolution of budget adjustment and grant authority to business office to submit and make any and all necessary adjustments. Mrs. Tanya Maestas.
President Flores, members of the board, Superintendent Layton. This is the resolution that you guys have signed the last 2 years. Prior to that, I'm not too sure. I'm sure you guys probably did. But this is the resolution that basically allows the finance office to be able to expedite at the bars with PED, to be able to move the funds and, you know, expedite the process for all our program and all our program people to be able to spend money in a timely manner. And then once we do that, then we give you the reports with all the bars that you guys review with the transfers, the maintenance, initial bars. So this allows us to be able to do it ahead of time and then bring it to you.
To be ratified.
President.
Vice. President. Hi, Tanya, again. Is there a cap to that amount, to the amount that you guys can move around and do that with?
I don't believe
No,
there
there's
has
not.
been,
Okay, just curious. I didn't remember.
Very true.
Thank you.
My question is, why would you want to do it in this way rather than going through the board first? Isn't that possible?
And I can help a little bit with this by expediting and allowing the finance department to do this. A lot of our departments that need the immediate purchases and we're not talking anything allowable through the procurement process, allows us to do that and get the resources into our campuses and our staff, but through the allowable purchases procurement process. So this kind of helps us expedite it instead of having to wait to the end of the board or to the end, but then we still bring it back as a report.
To get ratified?
Yes, ma'am.
That's fine. Okay, thank you. No, sorry.
Questions, comments on the board? In hearing Dr. Layton, my only request would be that yes, whatever changes are made in regards to budget adjustments be brought back to the board for ratification. And if it's only for informational purposes, then let it be, but if that could come back to the board.
President Flores, if I may, just to clarify a little bit, anytime we get a request, it's, all documented as paperwork, it's signed by the program people, or anybody who applies for grants has to give us like a justification. We have to upload the justification in, to do the bar into OBMS or PED requires us to put the big stuff in there. You have to do a justification, and then they do the initial approval. They'll deny us or approve us, whatever the case is, they ask us a million things as to what we have to follow, to be in compliance. Once that happens, then we go to Dr. Layton and he has to review it. So we do a little kind of process to just make sure that we're doing all the checks and balances to be able to push it forward. Dr. Layton does the approval, then it goes back to PD and it sits there, and then we can't really push the button. Without the resolution, we can't continue, and it makes us put a date in there for when it's board approved. So once we put them in there, then we bring them all back to you guys. So it's like a full streamlined paper check, like everything checks and balances.
I have another thought, only because, has this been run by our auditors? Only because it's a very stringent process that it comes to the board before it's actually done. But would you pass this through our auditor and to double check and make sure that it is allowable?
Yes.
That it's an allowable process?
Mm-hmm.
And otherwise I understand what you're trying to achieve, but please,
yes.
And
check with the auditor.
if I could just share with the board, this has been practiced, I believe, over the course of the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
If not throughout almost every fiscal year. It allows them to kind of clean up the books and shuffle money without, as Dr. Dayan said, without having to wait till the next board meeting or schedule a special board meeting, giving her budget adjustment authority. But in hearing Secretary Chu, could you just, confirm with our auditors and make sure we're following practice and protocol?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
I will get back on that.
Hearing no more questions or comments from the board, thank you for your presentation, Ms. Estes. Superintendent Layton, is there a recommendation for item I2, budget adjustment and grant authority to the business office to make any and all necessary adjustments?
President Flores, I do recommend that we approve the resolution for the budget adjustment bars and grant authority to the business office to submit and make all the necessary adjustments.
With the recommendation, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the resolution of budget adjustments and grant authority to the business office to submit and make any and all necessary adjustments as recommended by Superintendent Layton and presented by Ms. Maestas.
A second.
We have a second from Board Member Concha. Madam Clerk, can you please call for the roll?
Member Concha?
Yes.
Member King?
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo?
Yes.
Vice President Spray?
Yes.
President Flores?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Maestas. Item J of new business, J1, review and possible approval of touch math curriculum for Enos Garcia Ranch Elementary and Arroyo del Norte in the amount of $25,412.80. This is Melissa Edith.
President Flores, members of the board, Dr. Layton, I bring before you a review and possible approval of touch math curriculum. for $25,000 for $25,412.80. The reason why we're bringing this here is because this is going to allow our students who need extra help an additional way to gather the information that they need in order to be strong in computational fluency.
Any questions? The board entertain a motion for approval?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve the Touch Math curriculum for Enos Garcia, Ranches Elementary, and Arroyo Del Norte in the amount of $25,412.80.
We have a second.
A second.
Board Member King with the second. Madam Clerk, can you please call for the roll?
Member Concha? Yes. Member King?
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo? Yes. Vice President Spray?
Yes.
President Flores?
Yes.
Thank you.
Item J2 of new business, review and possible approval of professional services agreement with Document Solutions Incorporated. Procurement under existing contract under University of New Mexico in the amount for $148,188. Mrs. Maria Gintet.
President Flores, Vice President Spray, members of the board, Dr. Layton, community members. This is year 2 of our lease agreement that was signed last year. We did a 5-year lease for our coffee machines, and it's every year I need to come in front of the board to get it approved. But we did sign a 5-year lease with Document Solutions last year, and this is a 60-month lease, and this is year 2. So this is for 38 copy machines in the district. All of them do print color for everybody.
Thank you, Mrs. Gintet. Does the board have any questions or comments? Superintendent Layton, may I have a recommendation for the board in regards to item J2 of new business?
President Flores, I do recommend approval of the professional services agreement with Document Solutions Incorporated as presented by Ms. Gintet.
We have a recommendation from the superintendent for approval. Can I entertain a motion for approval from the board?
I'll make a motion to approve the professional services agreement with Document Solutions as presented by Maria Gintet.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a second from Vice President Cynthia. Madam Clerk, please call for the roll.
Member Concha?
Yes.
Member King?
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo?
Yes.
Vice President Spray?
Yes.
President Flores?
Yes.
Thank you.
Item J3 of new business, review and possible approval of contract for Heads Up Landscaping LLC, DBA Yellowstone Landscaping in the amount of $97,613.93. Mr. Marcos Rivera and Frederick Cisneros.
President Flores, members of the board, good evening, folks, members of the board, President Flores, Dr. Layton. We're here to present today contract for RFP 24-010, which is our landscaping contract. We had put this out to RFP. We're fortunate enough to get 2 contractors to give us quotes on it, prices. Through a committee, we were able to scoring and this and that. We're able to pick a contractor. We have Yellowstone Landscaping. We have Juan Torres, and we have Catherine Howell from Yellowstone Landscaping here to answer any questions if you guys have any questions. The contract is, I think, on your guys's thing, the amount is a little incorrect because it didn't have the tax amount. So the actual total amount with tax is $106,570 and that includes the tax. Page 10 of the contract that's in front of you. This is a 7-month contract. It will run from July 1st all the way till June of next year, with 5 months between, which are winter months that are not provided because winters there's not very much landscaping or stuff that needs to be done. We have asked them to give us an additional quote for snow removal and helping us with snow if need be. but that'll be on a separate, change order or work order or something like that. We're asking the board today for approval on this contract.
What's the total again, Fred? Sorry.
It was 106.
57001.
106, 570.1 penny.
Vice President.
And that includes the tax. So the actual contract amount was 97,613.93.
We have a question from Vice President.
Thank you, President Flores. Just a quick question. I read somewhere, but I don't see it in this. Did you come from Santa Fe?
Yes, ma'am.
That's where you come from. Okay, great. I wondered. And since you're Yellowstone, do you have Kevin Costner with you?
He's right here.
There he is. There he is. Just take a minute.
And if you guys noticed when you walked in today, if you noticed the campus here,
Totally.
our property here,
Did you all do that?
it was
Oh, my God.
cleaned by them for presentation for this, so. It looks
Wonderful.
very good, and
I
that's
noticed it, and
some of the stuff they'll be doing through amongst all our campuses.
thank you all for being part of the group.
And board, just for a point of clarification, that was not part of this contract. That was just a separate quote altogether. And we did go out for quotes, and just to let you know, it is not part of this particular contract. They didn't start the work beforehand, so.
Good job. Thank you again.
How many school districts do you guys do?
So we don't do entire districts, we do maintain St. Mike's High School along with Santa Fe Indian School at this time.
You guys do the high dollar ones. And they're nice. The Indian school is beautiful. St. Mike's, you can't really see, but the Indian school is gorgeous. Yeah, great campus.
And they helped us last year with our, they came in right before school started and did a whole district cleaning for us to get our schools presentable for the first day of school and stuff like that. So they kind of helped us, and they were willing to come in and give us prices and quotes on for this contract. So we're hoping that we can get this contract signed so we can get them started July 1st, so we can get all our campuses back into order.
Let me ask a question. President Flores?
I just, thank you. Thank you, President Flores. Fred, is this part of the group that you talked to about, you and Alethea talked to about prairie dogs?
No, these aren't.
Oh, are you ready to hear about prairie dogs?
Unfortunately, they're restricted from their license in Santa Fe that restricts them from being able to handle that stuff. So
well,
that's still another issue that we have. I've been at the middle school for the last couple of weeks trying to hammer that issue, and we're getting beat up on it. It's just that's one of our.
It's a rough issue. I'm happy you have a reason not to be part of that issue. Anyway, thank you.
Secretary Trio.
My question is, are you going to have a home base here in Taos, or are you going to be commuting, or how is your staffing?
We'll be commuting, we're kind of servicing the school district Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, so we'll be coming back and forth from Saturday.
I see, okay.
In addition to that, we have other areas. In fact, we're actually bidding on some of the big, heritage hotels that are here in Taos. So our objective is to build a whole portfolio for the Taos area. And again, if there's some charter schools, other types of educational facilities that we could bring on board, we'd be more than happy to do that. So we're an extension of the school district here, and any way we can help, we're available.
Nice.
How long you guys been in business?
So we've been in business, so you see the DBA heads up doing business as Yellowstone, so that's been heads up in business around for about 50 plus years. We were acquired by Yellowstone about 6 years ago. I've been with the company going on 17 years now. So I've been a branch manager for Sanitary going on 6 years. So we've been in business quite some time.
So you guys, in regards to Santa Fe, are you any other communities?
So we have a branch in Albuquerque, a satellite office in Las Lunas, and the branch in Santa Fe.
And how many employees?
I have about 27 here in Santa Fe.
Albuquerque facility has 300 plus the Las Lunas facility that actually services Facebook, which we installed, some other large HOA communities and other charter schools, other facilities as well. And we also have a construction division within Yellowstone. So we have construction, we have maintenance, enhancements, So it is a relatively large company. The Santa Fe office, even though we were required by Yellowstone, they've actually kept the entire Santa Fe population. I'm actually from Albuquerque, but my family's from Santa Fe, Pecos, the surrounding communities. So we do have a vested interest in New Mexico.
And they are with ACES, which is the organization kind of like CES. So they're into that. We didn't use that for this. We went out to RFP for it, but for any other services that may be needed from them we could go through ACES as part of the procurement process.
Any questions, comments from the board?
So Yellowstone that's a national company?
Yes.
Are they in our region, Rocky Mountain, or which? Okay.
So our states are Colorado, Arizona, Nevada, Texas, Florida, Georgia, New Hampshire, Chicago, West Virginia, right? We're in West Virginia, North, South Carolina, we're all over the place.
National.
Chicago's Illinois.
Yeah, there you go. No, we just have the one branch.
But Chicago's a big place.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So we're really into sustainability. In fact, Yellowstone is going the direction of utilizing electric equipment, utilizing better technologies that build in efficiencies. We are really, really steadfast on safety and so forth. So that's one thing that you're going to see out here working amongst the children and population, if you will, is really staging areas properly to make sure that the students are well cared for, their safety first, as well as our employees that we send them home to their families without incident. So staging is very important to us. We also have a 30, 60, 90-day program at the onset of the contract. I, as a business developer, will come out with the account manager, probably going to be walking with Leo and Fred to go through every single area to make sure that the commitments that we made in that binder, that we are meeting those commitments as well as exceeding in other areas. We're also here to help you, the Chrysalis building. I made notes as you all were talking, that we can help with cleanups. We can help with other things outside of the realm of maintenance.
Thank you, Mrs.
And on that note, those recommendations can be made to them, and that way they can be totally assessed and make the presentation of our school so much better.
Yes, indeed.
So much better.
And that's the objective. And Mr. Torres here has you folks asked for a plan. Like, what's the difference? Why should we select you? So he has a plan which he can expound on.
So right now you guys have deferred maintenance for several months. So we go 2 ways of doing it. We can provide a quote to clean the schools, but our objective is to start with the front of the school and work our way through the whole campus by the time school starts. So as the students come back to school, they have a nice clean campus versus having a half a clean campus that they came to this previous year. So our goal is to have all the schools cleaned up and ready to go by, I don't know if your first day of school is August 19th, 12th. So we August the 12th, have it all cleaned up and ready for you all to return back to your school.
So the objective, of course, first is safety liability issues. Any encroaching tree limbs, anything on sidewalks, open holes, things of that nature that someone can get hurt. You know, that's a priority on our list. Aside from the aesthetics, we're also trained to look for safety liability. So that's important.
Well, thank you all for being present. The district's been in need of landscaping services for some time. We've had an RFP out for what, almost a year and a half. So very appreciative of you guys responding to that. I just have a couple questions, either for Fred or for you, people, with all due respect. Or the routine and the schedule that's going to be set in place for how you're going to approach each building. Was that going to be set by you guys or working with Yellowstone? How are you guys going to go ahead and set up a routine and schedule?
I think we had originally discussed that they were going to come to us, me or Livio, with a schedule or where we wanted them to approach first, and you know, which areas, what places. And then once we got a hold of all of our campuses, then we would work like on a schedule of, you know, what week they would be coming to what school. And like they have a schedule. If you look at, I don't know if it's on this one, on the contract itself, but I think their schedule was Monday, Tuesday to come and take care of all the weeds and stuff like that. Wednesday, they were gonna come and do all the mowing on all our fields, so our field, the baseball field, Rancho's, Arroyos del Norte, Rancho's Elementary right now is getting taken care of by the soccer league. So they're taking care of the field and stuff like that for right now. I think we addressed them to take care of the actual baseball field that we have at Rancho's, because it's never been addressed or taken care of, but it don't have grass or anything, just, you know, weeds and stuff. So they're gonna be looking at that, you know, and then, so they're gonna be here 3 days a week. So, and like I said, they do have a schedule on a 30, 60, 90 day plan on how we're gonna attack that. And, you know, unfortunately, we've gone without for a long time, so it's gonna take a lot of work to get it back to where it was. And like I said, if you guys walk around here today, you'll see the kind of work they do, and it looks pretty good.
We're looking forward to starting a relationship with the much needed vendor.
This field here, Park Field, has never had an irrigation system on it. We've been hand watering it with hoses, dragging hoses back and forth. They're gonna work on getting us a plan to try to get a irrigation on that field, so it's not a, you know, it's a much better design than what we have right now.
So we're gonna bring our designer to do a design for the fields. If we get the order, the contract, that design will be free as long as we install it. Of course, if somebody else install it, then we have to charge for the drawing. Well, being that should be clients of ours, we would do that for free, the drawing portion of it.
Thank you, Crystal. First, I had a conversation very recently with the architect that did this building with regard to the stuff out front that you've already cleaned up. But I asked him where the closest water source was, and he says that there's a well right here in this corner of Parkfield that is ours, and that's what's watering these trees out front. Is that, are you aware of that?
No, we are not aware of it yet.
Okay, well, just FYI, I understand there's a water source right there. Okay.
Good to know. But part of our service at the start of the contract is we will go through the entire irrigation system to determine the operational status. So that'll probably uncover quite a few unknowns and so forth in terms of where we need to start. And it's a good planning process because, again, we look at this as a long-term relationship with the Taos school system. So like anything else, you know, we can put a budget together for long-term, 1, 3, and a 5 year. And this is what we do. So we can help to design this irrigation system so there is no more hand watering. And the vegetation is being properly scheduled for watering.
And I believe this contract is a 1-year contract with a 2 to 3 year extension. If need be, or if they want to, you know, I'm sure there'll be a percentage of an increase or something in the contract, but that'll probably be something we would have to address after the year.
I just have one hard question, and well, not really a hard question, but in years past, we've had the unfortunate experience of having some contractors or vendors perform services and invoice us for services not rendered. So I just want to speak to you, Fred, and see the monthly billing, and also with you folks, it'll be provided in somewhat of an itemization form as to the services performed. And then the question would be, it would fall on facilities to kind of just ensure as we develop this relationship, you know, that things are getting done as billed and addressed.
Correct.
So I will.
As far as the irrigation and stuff like that, I mean, if there's anything that needs to be repaired or out of the, I mean, they're gonna assess it and adjust it. But if there's like major repairs or major stuff that needs to happen, obviously that stuff will be at a change, you know, on a separate invoice or they'll give us a quote and then we'll have to bring it to the board.
It's outside of their scope of work.
Right.
Yes. So it's typically done on time and material. We can provide an estimated cost or a not to exceed number. And when we're getting close to that number, we would give Mr. Fred a call, letting him know where we're at before we do any invoicing or do anything further than that. So you guys know exactly what you're paying for with that work that's getting done.
Thank you, sir.
And Fred will be signing off on the invoices.
Secretary Hill, actually, I sign off on
You
those.
sign off
Yes.
on them?
So
Okay.
I oversee the process for facilities to make sure that
The services are rendered.
Those services are rendered.
Thank
So it goes actually to credit and a lead bill and then to my desk before it actually goes to finance. So we have a 3-point system for checking for those.
Thank you for that. And then, boardroom two.
Do you guys have a guarantee on your work, like parts, what, anything like that?
Yes, sir, it comes with a 1-year warranty.
Okay.
So that's for irrigation, timers, irrigation controllers. If you do an install for, like, let's say, trees, plant shrubs, that's also a year warranty for time installation.
Is that in your contract?
Yes, sir.
Great.
Yes, sir.
Okay. One last thing, the snow removal conversation that happened. We have quite long winters here in Taos. It is a service that we are going to need. It's been expressed to me as a board member from custodial and years past, the need for like the sidewalks at the high school and so forth. So it definitely would like for us to entertain how and if they would be interested in providing some of those services for us, and how we obviously leaving it up to you.
They did give us in their actual proposal for the RFP, they did give us a list of their costs for stuff like that.
Okay.
The only thing is, because they're coming from Santa Fe, our snow removal is, we have to be cleaned and done by, so most of their services will be done by maybe helping us remove some of the big piles of snow. We don't have a way to remove those, so, they can come with their trailer and a piece of equipment to remove those big piles of snow and stuff like that. But for them to come from Albuquerque or Santa Fe, on days that are really snowy, it's a little hard, but they can come and help us after the storm, to get us cleaned up a little better.
They're just gonna have to move down here.
I'm working on that.
Yeah, we're working on that.
Okay, well, I think we've
So
yes,
maybe just a little 3 points. We can provide the board with a quarterly report just so that you know where we're at. And I'll have Mr. Herrera and Mr. Cisneros provide a quarterly report, at least to let you all know where we're at with the progress of our facilities.
Awesome.
And then one of the things I'm gonna ask is, and this is just from personal experience, once we get the notification of where they're gonna be held, we can let our staff know so that maybe we can avoid talking about safety, the little chip glass, sometimes from the errant little rocks that go from the meeting. I only say that from personal experience, so if we can just let our staff know. And then I just want to lastly commend the process because this was the first process for me, but not first for me here. But I'm very familiar with the RFP process, and I would like to commend the business office for facilitating such a good process to make sure that our selection was done through all the appropriate procurement.
thank you, Superintendent. Well, I for one, I'm very excited to have you guys be here with us. We have yet to approve the contract, but we'll get to that here real quick, and I look forward to having you as partners in providing us a safe and good-looking environment and landscaping for our students and the community. Very important. So Superintendent, would you have a recommendation in regards to the item of approval of contract for Heads of Landscaping LLC, DBA Yellowstone Landscaping, in the amount of $97,613.93?
President Flores, I do recommend approval of the contract as presented by Mr. Cisneros and Mr.
Okay, the Vice President is telling me plus tax, so the amount is $106,570.01. Yes. And we do have a recommendation for approval. There's a board which could make a motion for approval.
I'll do it. Go ahead. No, you go ahead. I'd like to make a motion to approve the contract for Heads of Landscaping LLC, DBA Yellowstone Landscaping, in the amount of $106,570.01.
A second.
We have a second from board members. Madam Clerk, can you please call for the roll?
Member Concha?
Yes.
Member King?
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo?
Yes.
Vice President Sprague?
Yes.
President Flores?
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all for coming and spending your evening with us. We look forward to developing a relationship with your company, and we appreciate your willingness to come up to Taos and do work for us.
On behalf of Yellowstone, we want to thank you so much. We're very, very excited. We can renovate to get started. Thank you so much.
School starts. Thank you all.
Thank you.
You went so far this read, so my cell phone number's on there. If you have any questions and anything, give me a call.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
Item K of the consent agenda, we have listed 18 items. They were presented for the board for review. If there are any items which the board has any additional questions on, we can remove those items individually and discuss them. If there are none, it is the consent agenda and we can approve all items as listed. Give the board just a quick minute to just briefly review the agenda. These were presented to us in our packet, so they're pretty much clear. Secretary Trujillo.
I just have one question for Dr. Layton, and that was to make sure that all these contracts, with the process, the procurement process, and he assured me that they did. So that was you though.
Yes. And a lot of these items also are annual items that come before the board for services that are needed for our students. I did review the consent agenda with Dr. Leyen in setting the agenda. I'm just kind of just briefly running my eyes over everything real quick. It's here. I do not have any questions myself. It looks good. Board Member King, just checking, hiding behind the TV.
Coffee time.
It's coffee. It's a long day today. Superintendent, Dr. Leyen, do you have a recommendation in regards to the approval of the consent agenda items 1 through 18?
President Flores, I recommend that the board approve consent agenda items K1 through K18 as presented.
We have a recommendation for approval. I will go ahead and make a motion to approve the item K consent agenda items K1 through K18.
It's actually Maui shapeshifter demigod of the hero of man.
Let's go. I thought you already had clogs on.
They like my shrimp socks today.
What's that? Your shrimp sock.
I need the second.
So we have a recommendation from the superintendent for approval. I made the motion for approval of the consent agenda K1 through K18. Can we get a second?
Second.
We have a second from Vice President Cynthia. Madam Clerk, can you please call for the roll?
Member Concha?
Yes.
Member King?
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo?
Yes.
Vice President Spray?
Yes.
President Flores?
Yes.
Thank you.
The next item is our executive session. I just want to make a quick comment. I want to thank Vice President Cynthia for chairing the meeting in my absence. I do appreciate it very much.
My pleasure.
Item L is executive session. At this time, the board will enter into executive session upon the motion to enter. First, I will read the executive session items. L1, pursuant to section 10-15-1H of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, section 12-6-5 of the New Mexico Audit Act, and 2.2.215A3 NMAC for the auditing firm and superintendent to update the board regarding status of a special audit. Item L2, pursuant to section 10-15-1H7 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, to discuss legal advice about pending litigation, specifically a workers' compensation claim styled Valerie Trujillo versus Taos Municipal Schools and NMPSIA, which is our insurance agency. Workers' Compensation Act number 24-00496 and possible settlement. At this time, it is 7:56 p.m. I will make a motion for the board to enter into executive session.
Second.
And a second from Vice President Cynthia. Madam Clerk, would you call for the roll?
Member Concha,
Yes.
Member King,
Yes.
Secretary Trujillo,
Yes.
Vice President Sprague,
Yes.
President Flores.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Restroom break for all those that need.